December 14, 2016, 3:47 p.m., Heathrow Airport. A suitcase appeared on a carousel where it didn't belong, an international bag showing up among domestic arrivals. 3 years later, almost to the day, a man in uniform arrived for work hours early, driving a vehicle that gave him unrestricted access to any terminal. Two separate incidents, two distinct criminal networks, yet both linked by one silent common factor: corrupt airport staff facilitating the smuggling of cocaine across borders. These insiders weren't just background players. They were the engine behind one of the UK's largest drug smuggling operations, turning Heathrow into a lucrative £6 million cocaine pipeline. What unfolded next exposed the chilling depths of airport corruption. Today, we delve into the story of how traffickers exploited airport access with help from staff who knew exactly what to do. The insider advantage, Joyce Jury and Muhammad Ali Joyce Jury, was no ordinary baggage handler at Heathrow. As a British Airways employee with full airside clearance, Jury had the kind of access most travelers could only dream of. Driving tugs across runways, moving luggage containers freely between terminals. This level of access depended entirely on trust, a trust Jury chose to betray. Investigators found Jury often showed up at work on days he wasn't even scheduled. With his clearance, he moved freely around aircraft stands, baggage zones, and carousels, sometimes driving tugs loaded with containers to places no one questioned. He wasn't acting alone. Muhammad Ali, another baggage handler at the airport, became his accomplice. Ali also had unrestricted access to the tarmac, and together they formed the crucial insider link that the smuggling network relied on. This wasn't a case of low-level staff slipping bags through unnoticed. Jury and Ali controlled the movement and timing of luggage, carefully bypassing security measures. Jury knew exactly when to act, which containers to open, and how to stay off suspicion. Ali backed him up, ensuring the diversion of drug-laden bags happened seamlessly. To outside observers, it looked like routine airport operations, but behind the scenes, these moves were the foundation of a system smuggling tons of cocaine through Britain's busiest airport. The wider network, organizers and couriers. Jury and Ali were just the surface. Behind them stood a complex web of criminals orchestrating every step. At the heart was Priya Mangra, Jury's brother-in-law, who acted as the vital communicator between the handlers and the organizers. Phone records showed near constant contact between Jury and Mangra, especially around flights arriving from Brazil, calls before, during, and after drug shipments landed, tying the airport floor to the criminal masterminds. Wilfred Ausu, based in Stoke Newington, managed the couriers, the people who physically collected the suitcases from Heathrow and moved them onward. To avoid customs scrutiny, couriers didn't fly in on international flights carrying drugs, but on domestic routes from cities like Manchester, Glasgow, and Edinburgh. Domestic arrivals faced minimal checks, making it easier to transport illicit goods. The couriers were a mixed group: Danavan Bull from Clapham, Moses Awapetu with no fixed address, and two women, Felicia Kufur, 66 from Bedford, and Francis Kaka Archer, 26 from Stamford Hill. Each received detailed instructions before traveling. Their phones would buzz with images of the exact suitcase to pick up, the color, shape, and unique labels clearly identified out of hundreds of bags on a carousel. Once Jury and Ali did their part, the courier's job was almost effortless. Step off a domestic flight, collect the marked suitcase, and roll it out through the exit without suspicion. But the network extended even further. Michael Sutherland, a key figure from South Norwood, oversaw drug distribution after the bags left Heathrow. He was supported by longtime associates Marco Goro from Essex and Damien Goodhall from Tooting, who coordinated collections and handovers. Additional players like Aziz Abdul ensured couriers reached their destinations smoothly, while Lyona Townsend Bartley booked flights and hotels, coordinating the logistics behind the scenes. Though many rarely set foot in Heathrow itself, surveillance and phone data linked them all back to the baggage handlers on the tarmac. Together, this 13-strong network formed a meticulously timed pipeline, with every role essential to the operation's success. The journey begins. Bags from Brazil. Thousands of miles away in Rio de Janeiro, the scheme began. Innocuous-looking suitcases loaded onto British Airways flights were packed with cocaine after security checks, thanks to corrupt staff on the Brazilian side. Photos of these bags were sent ahead to the UK via encrypted messages, showing distinctive labels and tags. By the time the plane crossed the Atlantic, Jury and Ali in Heathrow already knew what to look for and what to do. For months, the network operated without interruption, until 2015, when one suitcase sparked suspicion. A bag tagged from Rio landed on a carousel meant for domestic arrivals. Border Force officers flagged the anomaly immediately. A Brazilian tagged bag shouldn't appear there. This irregularity triggered closer surveillance. Border Force monitored flights from Rio, noting patterns in flight schedules, bag weights, and routes. The National Crime Agency, NCA, soon joined the investigation, watching specific flights closely. What initially seemed like a one-off mistake soon revealed itself as part of a large-scale organized operation exploiting Heathrow's systems. Surveillance and the slip-up. The NCA's 18-month investigation was meticulous. CCTV footage captured Jury and Ali in restricted areas on unscheduled days, moving tugs and containers with ease. Their freedom was their advantage, but also their undoing. Phone records placed Mongra in contact with Brazilian numbers, aligning with flight arrivals. Encrypted messages between Ausu and couriers detailed which bags to pick up, confirming the operation's inner workings. Outside Heathrow, covert surveillance teams filmed meetings between gang members across London, cafes, street corners, even outside homes. Then on December 15, 2016, the operation hit a turning point. Felicia Kuffour, the 66-year-old courier, was spotted lingering near a domestic carousel, scanning for a specific bag. Her behavior matched the intelligence gathered over 18 months. Border Force intercepted her in real time. The network was no longer just suspected. It was caught red-handed inside the airport. The final takedown. By December 2016, the NCA had intercepted 6 shipments, over 100 kilos of high-purity cocaine and 44 kilos of cannabis. But they knew some shipments had escaped detection. The next move was a coordinated series of dawn raids across London and the southeast on December 14, 2016. Jury was arrested on the tarmac, the ground he had once navigated freely. Surprisingly, he didn't resist, telling officers he was relieved. Ali was taken from his home in Thornton Heath, Mongra detained, and simultaneous arrests made across London. Damien Goodhall, Marco Goro, Michael Sutherland, Wilfred Ausu, and others were all seized. The arrests caught the gang mid-operation, dismantling a network that had operated unchecked for months. Sentencing and aftermath. When the case reached court, the scale and betrayal were clear. Joyce Jury was sentenced to 16 years. Muhammad Ali received 15 years. Organizers faced longer terms. Wilfred Ausu got 20 years, Mongra 13.5, Michael Sutherland 20, Marco Goro nearly 15, and Damien Goodhall over 11 years. Others, including couriers and logistics staff, received sentences ranging from 6 to 10 years. In total, the gang members were handed 139 years collectively. Though this operation was shut down, airport corruption didn't end. A new threat. Juned Dar and the Bogotá connection. Fast forward a few years and another insider emerged. Juned Dar, a 47-year-old security manager, arrived early at Heathrow, dressed in uniform and armed with access to every terminal and airside zone. His role gave him the perfect cover. On a chilly morning, Dar targeted a flight from Bogotá, Colombia, carrying 2 couriers, Michael Williams and Jessica Waldron from Dudley. Their bags concealed 22 kilos of cocaine, but this time, authorities were waiting. Colombian officials, working with the NCA, intercepted their luggage before departure. Instead of seizing the drugs immediately, they replaced the cocaine with identical wooden blocks to monitor the smuggling attempt into the UK. This allowed the NCA to track Dar and the courier's movements inside Heathrow, capturing the entire operation on camera. The organizers behind the scenes. Behind Dar were 2 organizers from the West Midlands, Rufford Davis, 55, and David Farquharson, 53. Using encrypted messaging apps, they guided the couriers every step of the way, their communications monitored and later decrypted by the NCA. Their mistake? sending duplicate instructions to Jessica Waldron, which strengthened the prosecution's case by proving deliberate coordination. Phone records connected them to Dar, confirming their central role in orchestrating the smuggling. The arrest and closure. After landing, Williams and Waldron met Dar, who steered them to a secluded toilet area for the handover. As Dar loaded the bags into his secure vehicle, the NCA moved in. Dar was arrested before he could leave the airport with the drug-laden luggage, or in this case, the wooden blocks. Williams and Waldron were stopped by Border Force as they attempted to exit. Coordinated raids across the West Midlands soon followed, resulting in the arrests of Davis and Farquharson. Their phones and financial records revealed the full scope of the conspiracy. Final sentences and reflections. On August 4, 2023, at Kingston Crown Court, the conspirators faced justice. Juned Dar was sentenced to 16.5 years for his gross betrayal of trust. Davis and Farquharson each received 14.5 years. Williams and Waldron had earlier pleaded guilty and were sentenced to 6 years and 8 months each. The judge highlighted how insider corruption remains one of the most serious threats to UK border security, undermining public confidence and enabling organized crime.